is CTV News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. 3 people are facing charges tonight after police say a 16-year-old girl was drugged and sexually assaulted at a Windsor house party. Investigators say the teen was at a home on St. Louis Avenue near Wyandotte on June 21st when she was given a drugged drink that left her significantly impaired. Police say she was then sexually assaulted. A second female was also allegedly assaulted when she tried to intervene. 18-year-old Ali Abazar Ali Kal Hussein and 19-year-old Connor Timothy Sterling and a 17-year-old are facing charges. As we told you last night, a fake 911 call triggered a major police response east of Leamington tonight. OPP say so-called swatting incidents are on the rise and, as CTV's Chris Campbell reports, can have serious consequences.
Officers, emergency crews, and specialized police resources were called to the 500 block of Talbot Road east of Leamington Tuesday afternoon after receiving a report of a violent family dispute involving weapons. But Essex County OPP quickly determined the call was false.
There was a call, a swatting call, which is basically a fake call for service where there's some sort of emergent situation happening. And it calls for a large reaction on our part as well as other emergency services to handle the situation.
Police say swatting incidents are becoming more common and can have far-reaching impacts. Beyond causing fear for the unsuspecting residents at the center of the call, officers say these incidents tie up valuable emergency resources that may be needed elsewhere. A swatting call can trigger a response that's designed for the worst-case scenario. Officers don't know a report is fake until they arrive and investigate. That's why police and public safety experts warn these incidents can create risks far beyond the address where the call originates.
When you think of it in the case of a place like Leamington, where all the surrounding OPP officers are going to drop what they're doing unless they're involved in a similar call, and they're going to attend. They're going to contain the area. They're going to call in the tactics and rescue unit from London, a K9 unit, probably police negotiators and an incident commander, and more. And if you tie up all the resources, something else is going to drop off the table.
Investigators continue working to identify whoever made the false report. Police say swatting incidents can lead to criminal charges, including public mischief, threats, or harassment. CTV News public safety analyst and former OPP Commissioner Chris Lewis says anyone considering making a fake emergency call should think twice.
Think about it, the harmlessness in deploying $1 million worth of resources, taking them from other real situations. What's the risk to the public, and what's the risk that you're going to have a criminal record, go to court, maybe go to jail, and never be able to cross the border in the United States again?
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
A Windsor doctor who lost his license after a sexual relationship with a patient has been cleared to practice again. Dr. Haider Hussain's license has been reinstated under strict conditions, including direct supervision and unannounced inspections. Head over to ctvnewswindsor.ca for all the details on the college's decision. The jury in the Glen Mayer murder trial will have to wait a little longer to begin deliberations. Mayer has admitted to shooting Tony Bashara at his Lakeshore home in January of 2024. He testified he went there to confront Bashara after learning his wife was having an affair with him, but says a physical struggle followed. The Crown argues Mayer arrived armed and intent on revenge. Closing arguments were expected today, but have now been pushed to Thursday. After that, the jury will begin deliberations. Get ready to pick up the pace on more Ontario highways. The province is raising the speed limit to 110 kilometers an hour on nearly 1,000 more kilometers of highway. The first changes take effect Friday on parts of highways 401 and 416 in eastern Ontario. By the end of September, additional sections of the 401, 402, 403, 416, 417, and QEW will also see the higher limit. The Ford government says the changes are being made only on highways designed to safely handle faster traffic. And the province may be raising speed limits, but speeding can still cost you. As CTV's Sanjay Maru reports, tickets can drive up your insurance rates and, in some cases, leave you looking for new coverage.
Here along one of Windsor's busiest thoroughfares, Cabana Road, it's easy to see how often people drive well above the speed limit. But if you think that's bad, consider an incident this past week along Highway 3 in Kingsville, where police say a driver was caught going 239 kilometers an hour in an 80 zone.
It's outrageous, and obviously no regard for the other drivers around them or themselves at that speed. There's really nothing you could do to react if something were to happen.
Most drivers will never come close to traveling at that kind of speed, but a local insurance broker says the financial consequences of speeding can begin with a much more ordinary ticket, even one for just 10 or 20 kilometers an hour over the limit.
Anything under 40 kilometers could increase your insurance anywhere between 25 and 50%. Anything over that, 50 to 100%.
According to the head of Tabone Insurance, insurers do not focus on how many demerit points a driver receives. They look at the conviction itself. And unless a driver has purchased minor conviction protection, Jesmond Tabone says even a lower level speeding ticket can cause a significant increase at renewal.
A simple $100 ticket could cost you thousands of dollars over the next 3 years.
In this case, the 29-year-old Windsor driver was charged with dangerous operation and stunt driving. Their license was suspended for 30 days and the vehicle impounded for 2 weeks.
I can't think of an excuse that would justify those actions. We hear everything from as simple as I was late to, I have to use the washroom.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
The Michigan Senate candidate is using the delayed opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge as a campaign issue.
The Gordie Howe Bridge is finished, but Donald Trump won't open it because the billionaire family that owns the other bridge gave him $1 million.
Mallory McMorrow has released a new ad claiming President Trump is holding up the bridge's opening to benefit Ambassador Bridge owner Matty Maroon. The claim comes after reports Maroon donated $1 million to a Trump super PAC. The Gordie Howe Bridge was expected to open earlier this month before the planned ceremony was suddenly canceled over what Canadian officials called outstanding issues. Local iron workers took their concerns to the new East End Costco construction site today.
We're out here to make people in Windsor and Essex aware that Costco is bringing in people from out of town to put up steel when we have a high unemployment, over 8% in Windsor, Essex, and amongst the youth it's over 20%. So I would like to have Costco to have considered the high unemployment here and maybe put some people that were local to work.
Dozens picketed outside the Catherine Street development alleging work is being given to out-of-town subcontractors instead of local tradespeople. The $130 million project will include a new Costco warehouse and gas bar. CTV News has reached out to Costco Canada for comment, but has not yet received a response. And a new twist in the long-running Titan tool and die dispute. Unifor is accusing the Windsor company of cutting retiree benefits and pension supplements. The union also claims Titan has not negotiated a closing agreement or paid severance to locked out local 195 workers. The dispute dates back to last August. CTV News has reached out to Titan for comment. We have also not heard back from them. We caught up today with Windsor's newest Amazing Race Canada contestants.
I was quite nervous because I wasn't sure if I would be up for the challenges, but when you're in it, anything can happen, and just having that confidence to just try and get through each challenge shows you that you can do something outside your box, outside your comfort zone, and still, get it done. Yeah.
Mother and son duo Soraya and Amin Fidel will compete on the new season, which premieres July 7th. The owners of Cedar Valley Chips say they were recruited after producers came across their social media. To take part, they stepped away from their business for a month, leaving their team of 55 employees to keep things running.
We gave all of our employees more responsibilities. We gave them more tasks to do, and really they felt like they had a new sense of responsibility and ownership of their departments, right? And so they felt more trusted and more honored to be, hey, I own this position, I own this department, I'm going to go and make sure that everything's taken care of while Amin and Soraya are away.
Well, it's a dream come true for a Windsor teen who hasn't always had it easy. 14-year-old Nicholas Tenolio is settling into his new room after being selected in a local makeover competition. As CTV's Robert Lothian reports, it comes just in time ahead of a big surgery.
Whoa! Opening the door to a new era in his life.
Thank you so much!
14-year-old Nicholas Toniolo is settling into his new digs just fine.
Obviously, it felt very exciting. I was super happy with the way it looked, and it was over my expectations.
Nicholas got his first look at his recently renovated room on Tuesday, a result of being the recipient of Urban Home Interior Design's Urban Angel Bedroom Makeover, with renovations finishing just in time.
I'm kind of nervous, but kind of not at the same time.
Born with severe scoliosis, next week Nicholas will have his biggest surgery yet.
I've had 2 other surgeries before, which is gonna make me more laid back, knowing which the outcome's gonna be. And I just hope that everything goes well and that I feel better after it.
Surgeons will fuse his back, putting a rod into it and improving his quality of life.
I mean, it's one of the biggest surgeries and it's scary, but I told him that we're going to get through this together.
Winning the room makeover, Nicholas will have everything he needs for a strong recovery. From posters of his favorite shows, a TV he can watch in comfort, and a lower bed that's easier to hop in, nailing every ask down to a T.
I said, Rolls-Royce, how they have stars on the roof? I said that, and they went beyond that and add a whole galaxy and stuff above there, which is obviously very nice.
For Nicholas's mom, Helen, she expects to see her son a little less now, but she knows it's worth it.
He's gone through a lot in his life in terms of the surgeries, losing his dad the last couple of years. It's just well-deserved, and it just makes me proud.
Hopefully, Nicholas's initial recovery will only take 2 to 3 months, having him ready to start high school this year, with a new space of his own to return to every night. Robert Lothian, CTV News, Windsor.
And we are all wishing Nicholas Toniolo the best. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time.
How somebody didn't die that morning, I'll never be sure.
Still ahead, it isn't just dangerous. Stealing copper could carry even stronger penalties. The details of a new federal bill coming up. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald is here with our first look at the weather tonight. And Gary, a little bit of rain today.
You're right about that. Some rain this afternoon ahead of the schedule that we saw with Environment Canada's computer model suggesting it would happen later this evening. It came early. We could see it forming up with the satellite radar imagery. Now it lingers, and second and third waves are a possibility through the overnight and certainly tomorrow. Thursday will be similar to today in terms of temperatures. Speaking of, we were seasonal. Temperatures range between about 24 to 25 degrees between Windsor, Essex, Chatham, Kent. Our average high is getting closer to 27. The average low, just shy of 16. We were down to about 11 degrees earlier this morning, so seasonably cool. But the big story is the system of low pressure. In fact, 2 areas of low pressure have combined into one massive one across the upper Great Lakes, swinging showers right through the heart of Lake Huron, Lake Erie, and eventually Lake Ontario from west to east, right across the state of Michigan into southwestern Ontario. We've seen scattered and light showers. A little bit further north and over Lake Huron, we've seen some thunderstorm activity in parts of the eastern flank. Those shores certainly north and east of us. Those rains progress a little bit further east, and behind it, we call this wraparound effect. Residual showers on the reverse side of this core area of low pressure will produce some thunderstorm activity, right? It's low pressure, so the air is rising, that warm air specifically, with energy and moisture. We get the clouds that produce precipitation in the form of light to moderate rain showers. And again, the worst of it's in upper Michigan, moving across parts of the Midwestern tier of southern Ontario. Now, the City of London is expected to get quite a bit of rainfall, and that is interesting because we do have people who may be traveling along the 401 due east over the next 24 hours. So anticipate that for Thursday afternoon. Here's the breakdown, though. For tonight, a low pre-dawn of 15, about a 40% chance of showers, even a slight risk of thunderstorm activity. Tomorrow, thunderstorms are a risk and threaten through the morning, midday, and afternoon. A high of 25 will be reached at around, say, 4 p.m. And we could still see some lingering thunder shower and showers in general for Thursday evening. Friday, fair weather, nice break, 24 comfortable degrees. Saturday, cloudy, 25. Those are seasonal average highs expected, and lows the next 3 days. Then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll go from 28 to 33, increasing temperature, humidity, and combine that with instability, and you get showers and thunderstorm potential, and that thunderstorm potential for Canada Day. That's a week from now, but right now, that's what it's looking like. Travis?
Thank you, Gary. Those convicted of stealing copper from essential infrastructure could get zapped with stiffer penalties. The federal justice minister today explaining how a new bill could target copper theft. CTV's Brian Bicknell explains.
How somebody didn't die that morning, I'll never be sure. They actually cut into live 27,000 volt conductor. There was a fire and an explosion.
London Hydro CEO Uzni Semzerini is referring to this event. In September of last year, an attempt to steal copper hydro line beneath an Adelaide Street bridge knocked out power to 5,000 customers.
It took us 8 or 9 months to reroute power in that area. We had to go from underground to overhead because the bridge was unusable. We spent over $1.1 million last year in correcting I guess the damage caused.
Semzerini was on hand as Federal Justice Minister Sean Fraser visited the London utility. Fraser announced changes to the Criminal Justice Act that could give a jolt to copper thieves, targeting crimes against essential infrastructure. He says Bill C-14, the Bail and Sentencing Reform Act, would not consider the theft on its own, but the damage it causes.
To those who are considering taking part in copper theft or damaging our essential infrastructure, is if you damage our transit networks, putting the economic well-being and the safety of your community at risk, if you do damage to our electricity grids and don't allow our communities to have access to the power that they need, or if you take down our telecommunication networks, you should expect a stiffer sentence.
It disrupts people in their homes, it disrupts healthcare, traffic signalization, everything that power supplies. You know, this is something that should have elevated status.
While the new laws aim to deter would-be copper thieves, the other challenge is enforcement. London Hydro is hoping its new alert system will help police get to the scene of the crime much quicker. The new tech can detect the tilt of a manhole cover.
Our goal, though, as always, is to get automation out where we can to protect the system as much as we can.
This conversation is going to engage not only questions of cost for cities and provinces that are going to have to ensure that they have the boots on the ground. It's also going to require that we look at what resources in terms of the tools that law enforcement has access to.
The new law comes into force July 15th. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
The TSX lost 191 points today. The Dow gained 182, but the Nasdaq fell 110. The Canadian dollar is down 17 hundredths of a cent today. Gold lost more than $140 an ounce, and oil fell $2.87 a barrel. Hundreds of people came together this afternoon for the funeral service of a Toronto police officer who was shot and killed in the line of duty earlier this month. Among those offering emotional tributes today, the fallen officer's mother and children. CTV's Beth McDonnell has more.
Constable Mark Pinizzato's funeral was a ceremony full of tributes, not for how he died, but for how he lived.
But above all, you were my best friend. Never in a million years did I think you'd pass away so soon, but I miss you so much. Even though you're not here physically, the impact that you had on my life is always here, and the legacy that you left behind lives forever.
I look up to him and will continue to because he showed me how to be a funny but serious person. And that is what I love most about him. And he put in the effort every day to teach me new things, to make me a better person.
On June 11th, the 43-year-old member of Toronto Police's elite emergency task force was shot and killed during a raid tied to the U.S. consulate shooting. The son, husband, father, and brother is greatly missed.
He was our brother, and he loved hockey. Like so many Canadian kids, he grew up at the rink. Hockey wasn't just a game to him, it was a part of who he was. It taught him it taught him discipline, teamwork, resilience, and loyalty. And those qualities stayed with him through his entire life.
You were more than a member of the ETF. You were more than a hockey player. You are our brother, you are our best friend, and you are our hero.
Prior to the service, a procession made its way from the funeral home in Thornhill to the Toronto Congress Centre in Etobicoke, where thousands gathered for Pinizzotto's final farewell, including Mayor Olivia Chow, Premier Doug Ford, and U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra. An officer who worked with the force for 18 years, Pinizzotto was remembered time and again for his humor, loyalty, and leadership.
As a training constable, Mark helped train thousands of Toronto police officers. He made our service better.
He was professional, competent, courageous, and had an unwavering commitment to his teammates.
Mark understood the right course in life is not the me, myself, and I world. He truly embraced the importance of putting others before himself, being ready at a moment's notice.
Pinizzotto's death marks the first time in the ETF's 64-year history a member has been killed on the job. A job his family says was a calling, as he was always ready to step up and serve. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
In Montreal, a memorial is building at the site of Monday's deadly shooting where a police officer and a bystander were killed. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver now on today's funerals and the ongoing investigation.
Neighborhood, there are few signs of Saint Jean-Baptiste Day celebrations. The district is quiet and many activities are canceled, signs of a community in mourning.
I feel just like that, I don't have a lot of energy. I just feel that I wanted to see by myself what I've missed from the inside and wanted to get my things.
Robin Cote witnessed Monday's shooting. Today, on his day off, he came back to the scene to pay his respects.
They put their lives on the line for everyone, and I believe the policeman he saved some people, some of my colleagues that got in the middle of the shootings.
The victims of that shooting laid to rest today. Bystander, 68-year-old Michel Moshe Mizrahi, was remembered as a devoted father and a pillar of Montreal's Jewish community who died a hero.
He didn't just leave the scene. He stayed and he asked other people to run away, to escape, to find refuge.
The big heart, always positive and always joking, always smiling.
Later today, a private funeral will be held for Constable Mohamed Lamin Ben Khadouane. He was one of the first to arrive on scene and had been with the Montreal Police Force since 2021. For those who live and work nearby, the trauma is still very real.
I've never been in an environment post in the situation like I was today. So it's very traumatic, actually, and now that I'm speaking about it, it's actually coming out even more emotional.
Although the police tape is gone and the scene is slowly being cleared, this investigation is still in its early stages, with investigators here again today looking for information that can help explain how and why this tragedy happened. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Montreal.
Let's take another look at the 7-day forecast with CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald. And Gary, it looks like it might rain on our Canada Day barbecues and fireworks.
Yes, a week from now. Again, it's early. systems that we see in computer model simulations. Again, it's simulations. Supercomputers just churning up a lot of data, a lot of physics and algebra and calculus involved, right? Lovely, love it. But it's a simulation, a prognostication of what's to come in the future 7 days from now. So don't lose hope altogether, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow, it's closer, and therefore forecast accuracy is better. We can see some of the storms forming up and moving along. So take a look. We're in showers, thunderstorms threatening tomorrow. Temperatures in the mid-20s the next 3 days. We'll be into increasing cloudiness Friday night into Saturday. Sunday looks good, but warming up, upper 20s. And then 30s, the story, and up from there. For Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday, and yes, Wednesday, Canada Day, as of right now, is likely to be cloudy with about a 40% chance of showers and or thunderstorm activity. And those temperatures next week will feel even warmer, Humanex values in the upper 30s expected. That's a look at your weather. Have yourselves a good night. Travis?
Thank you, Gary. Finally tonight, one local mom is proving it's never too late to chase a new goal.
They think I'm nuts. Especially I boxed my entire time I was pregnant up until the morning that I went into labor.
Amber Doster took up boxing after bringing her son to the gym and never looked back. She once weighed more than 300 pounds, but after losing more than 150, she captured silver in the elite novice division last weekend. Doster says her coach, Josh Canty, helped give her the confidence to step into the ring.
He told me he was going to send me a video, and it was on Shakespeare, and it was a part that said self-doubt is a traitor, which it is. It will steal everything from you. So don't listen to those voices in your head, because they're going to keep you still in life, and you're not going to do what you want to do.
That's our time for tonight. I hope you'll join us tomorrow. For now, I'm Travis Fortnum. Take care.